Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Weirdos Assemble. We're working out a few technical issues, so please bear with us. We've had to transition systems, and the tests that were ran aren't exactly working out like we thought they would. So, bear with us for just a few minutes, and we'll get the show on the road. Audio and microphone audio. So, welcome back, guys. Sorry about that. Had a little bit of an issue, but it's fixed now.
That's my dad back there.
Howdy, howdy.
Yeah, I got the audio working here on the microphone, but I don't know if I unplug it if it'll work. So
I have no idea.
no.
But I am joined tonight by Trucker Paul, or as we all know and love him, Step Trucker. Still having some connection issues, but we'll get it worked out. And I have Mad Yankee.
Hello.
Yeah, Paul's having some connection issues. I don't know where everybody else is at right now.
I know. Didn't Juice and Random say they might be a bit late?
Possibly, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, I want to say one of them's coming back from like a Friday night bike night event at some point. So
Yeah, that is Nar. So Aaron will be on a little bit later.
Yeah, my dad and I, we just got back from the lake. We didn't catch anything. We saw an eagle. That was cool.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, we got them up here now a lot.
We're getting you every now and then, Paul. No, we can hear you.
I'm trying to figure it out.
No,
This
you're
is all
good, man.
new.
This is going back to our basics. Going through Discord chat. So you guys said you didn't catch anything, but you saw an eagle.
Nah. Yep. Yeah, saw a bunch of wildlife. The loons are back on the lake, and they were shouting at us. We saw an eagle, saw a bunch of ducks, wood ducks. So we're getting stuff coming back, but the fish weren't really biting yet. So it's weird. We normally there's like a slow process where the lake kind of melts and then slowly everything comes. But we've had some sort of random heat wave up here. It was like 90 today, and it was 80 something the day before. There was still ice on the lake last week, so it literally all just melted and all the bugs are coming out, which usually means the fish will start biting, but it's just everything's all over the place.
Right. I know when we were in Alaska, when the snow melted, the mosquitoes were intolerable.
Yeah, the mosquitoes don't normally come out here until about May-ish, usually later May. The first thing you get a wave of black flies, and those vary depending on the year, but they can absolutely suck. And then, of course, you get all the ticks that just start popping up in the grass everywhere. Then late May, you get the first mosquito hatch, and then after that, you get the deer fly, and then it's just hell until September when they finally recede.
Paul, how's your weather?
How's what?
How's your weather? I have a feeling it's the same as mine.
It's really raining and pouring on this side of town.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, today was a pretty rough day. No, it was a pretty rough day because of what's happening in my homestead right now.
Yeah. So do you feel like talking about what happened to your bike?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm an idiot. I rushed. I was trying to do it quickly because I had to get back here, and I put a strap around the front fork on the right side. I'm in the process of moving. Let's let everybody know I'm in the process of moving. I had movers at my house today. I had to go get a U-Haul and a trailer for myself. The movers were for my mother. So I took the bike to the U-Haul place, and I'm trailering my bike. I'm moving up to Wisconsin this weekend. So in my stupid rushness, because I need to get shit done right now, I put a strap around a brake line, a little caliper thing, a little fitting on the caliper. And I tightened it down, and I instantly saw brake fluid, and I was like, motherfucker. Knew exactly what I did, went around the bike, saw what I did, and I'm like, yep, well, can't ride the bike today. At least I got 20 miles in today.
Yeah. But you're getting it fixed tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the dealership across town, Appleton there, and they got a first come, first serve in the morning, so I'm going to get there bright and early, and hopefully it's a quick fix, and I can move tomorrow.
Yeah. After you get some riding in with a local goon.
Yeah, I will be more than happy to get the bike fixed and bring the bike back and unload it and go around town for a little bit if you're more than willing to throw a little muscle around and throw some boxes in the back of the U-Haul.
I got you. I told you I'd help you.
Yeah, hopefully it's nice out tomorrow. If not, then I'm not, I I want to get it fixed so I have something to drive up in Wisconsin. Although they're expecting snow on Sunday.
Go figure.
And the goddamn.
Well,
So what are you going to be doing
so
in
that's
Wisconsin
news.
now?
Who do we have others coming in here tonight?
Yeah, Loose Juice will be in later. Nar will be in later. Rainy's at work. The usual cast and crew should be here. It's just the migration to this is messing with everybody.
Yeah. Well, with the new job, my weekends are free. Um, why don't we wait for the crew so we don't have to we can have a discussion about it.
Yeah, we can do that.
'Cause I'm sure people are dying. I'm sure people are wondering what non-trucker Paul is doing these days.
Oh yeah, what are you gonna change your name to now? Truck Trainer Paul?
I will I will always be a truck driver, you guys. And I still drive truck, just not the way I drove truck 3 weeks ago.
Well, I mean, to us, you're always gonna be step trucker. So let's be real.
Right. Maybe I'll just change it to step trucker.
Step trucker and Bacardi. I like it.
Uh,
I like it.
yeah,
Oh, have
that's
you
a lot of.
seen? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, have I seen what?
Have you seen the Goon store? I put your little slogan on there on a mug.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest. I have not done much of any social media in the past 2 weeks. I haven't seen I haven't done anything because I've been super busy up in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Well, I know from what little we've been
So
able to text, you've been pretty busy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna be as accessible as I once was as a truck driver. My phone will be sitting on my desk most of the day, and I'm gonna be half a mile from it most of the day, every day, versus in front of my face at all times.
Right.
So,
Oh, at least you finally get to settle down now.
that's the point. I'll be able to ride more. I can go to work, ride at night, ride the weekends. I've got dog sitters up there. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't even have internet right now.
Oh,
I don't even know how
I
this
can
is
tell.
how I look. I don't know how. Yeah.
I mean, so from what I can see, hey Dez, from what I can see, you're not that delayed, but you have some glitching every now and then. But overall, it's good. So where are you at right now, Yankee?
Currently, I am actually at our hunting camp, which is in Gilmanton, New Hampshire. No, I'm in a different location every week, it feels like. But my dad's up visiting, and so we're hanging out here. Like I said, just got back from the lake, so.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that's why you can see all this stuff behind me, because this is a pretty small cabin. So that's like basically all the kitchen and the bathroom back there, and then the 2 bedrooms are there, and then there's basically just a couch in front of me, and that's it. That's Casa de Yankee here.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
So, the
You're
town.
still on the street.
Yeah, he is. Let's see. I'm just having to adjust a couple things real quick to make sure everybody that needs to get in here can get in here. Rowdy's probably still asleep, so we probably won't see him tonight. However,
Yeah,
Dez, if you would like to come on and join, let us know in the chat, and we can get you a link to the Discord. But tonight's topic since we actually have one for a change instead of just bullshitting the entire time, is safety. Because as everybody's already aware, the riding season is back upon us. Thank whatever higher power or lack thereof that you believe in. So, and we've already had a couple members of the community have some really close calls. If you guys saw Aaron's short from the other day that he shared in the group chat.
Yeah,
At
it was
truck with a
crazy.
stop sign. So, Paul, what are some tips that you could give people on staying safe while riding, or what gear that you recommend, or not necessarily recommend, but that you use to stay safe?
I am a shorts and t-shirt, and if I don't have to wear a helmet, I'm not going to wear a helmet kind of guy. But what I do recommend is any intersection you go through, or a red light, a stop sign, if you get the green light, slow down, be prepared, put your hand on the brake. Look both ways before you're going through that intersection. Park cars on streets, see if there's, glance through the back window if you can, see if you see anybody looking like they're going to be getting out and opening that door on you, simple stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, like you were saying about parked cars, you can always watch for brake lights. Because if it's an automatic, you have to press the brake.
Yeah.
Or at least on most newer vehicles, you have to have the brake depressed before you can put it in drive.
Well, not necessarily that. It's, they might be sitting there idle, and then at the last minute, open their door as you drive by. Like if you're in a city or something.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
Not necessarily pulling out. But yes, pulling out as well. Look for those brake lights, and keep your distance. As a truck driver, keep your distance. Don't tailgate ever. And if someone pulls out in front of you, create that distance. Don't tailgate.
Yeah. And if somebody does accidentally happen to miss a stop sign and run into the lane, something I think we can all agree on is try to remain calm during the situation and after. I mean, it's perfectly understandable to be angry. However, you need to keep your composure. You can be mad.
Yeah.
It does nobody any good to turn around and snatch a mirror off a car for making a mistake.
Right. That's kind of why I don't like the whole and I mean I get the idea behind it, but that common refrain of like, oh well, assume everybody out on the road is trying to kill you. Well, okay, I get the point, but the thing is for me, I feel like that just encourages a bunch of anger and antagonism that really isn't actually going to help you in the long run. How I prefer to think of it is when you're out on the road, everybody, in a car, whatever, assume two things. Assume they're the stupidest person alive, and assume they have no idea you're there and just cannot see you and that you are completely invisible. Because you just, you can't, I don't feel comfortable counting on the senses of other people to notice me, because too many of them just aren't paying attention. So I just assume, even if I'm right next to the person or in plain view, I just assume that person has zero idea I'm there and is about to crash into me because they're just exceedingly dumb. And that way you just got to be prepared for, anything that might happen with traffic out on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Something else that we could also bring up is, and I think this is a big one too, don't do stupid shit on your fucking motorcycle. Like we just had...
I mean, objectively, that is true.
On my way back from seeing Chase, Parker, Rowdy, Father Bobber, and the rest of the crew, that was last Saturday, a couple of sport bike riders were being fucking stupid on the highway, doing the normal shit that young kids with fucking sport bikes do, and wound up with fragmented bikes and dead and shut down I-24 for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how they
Wasn't it,
crashed.
two bikes, right?
Two
and
bikes.
then the bike, two people died. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was right past the. Is it exit 19 or exit 24? Coming towards Clarksville.
Right.
And it had happened like 20 minutes after I had passed through there. I was like, ooh, okay. But yeah.
Well, I-24. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
I-24, I think specifically I-24 from pretty much the Tennessee state line to Nashville is probably one of the worst, most dangerous 50 or 60 mile highway in the country. And I've been on every mile of every highway in this country, but there's zero law enforcement. It's a racetrack.
I will agree to that. I-24 going southbound into Nashville is a fucking super speedway. You could argue that northbound is about the same way.
Well, that's usually, and what's everybody driving in Tennessee?
Hang on a second, Paul. Your connection's
And
getting down.
everybody,
So just so everybody is aware, Paul is running on a phone right now, so his connection's not going to be the greatest. But we still love our stuff trucker, and I'm thrilled to have you back, buddy. I really am. I'm fucking tickled pink to have you back. I can't wait to see you tomorrow.
We do miss you.
starting next week, my life will be a little more. I'll have internet, good internet, so I know it's weird, but a little bit more feeling.
No, he's catching up. He sounds more like Step Trucker and less like Stephen Hawking. I really want to get a screen grab at his face.
I know
so
that
many
is
memes could come of this.
that is beautiful right there.
Is that any better?
Yeah, we can actually hear you.
Yep. Still kind of frozen, but oh, there he goes.
I'm still here. I just turned the video off.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We got
Can
to
hear
see
you a
your
lot better now.
beautiful face either way, at least for a little bit.
So I don't know what you missed on my
Let's pretend it never
Clarksville,
happened.
Tennessee
And
internet.
let's pretend it never happened and start back over.
I don't know where we were.
I said something about northbound also being a super speedway, and you took it from there.
Oh yeah, that's right. If you're coming from Nashville to Clarksville, well, any part of the state of Tennessee, I've been on every interstate in every state many times, but for some reason in the state of Tennessee, every motherfucker wants to drive in the hammer lane at all times.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the term hammer lane. Is that the left lane? Is
That's
that
the left lane. Left lane
okay.
is for the evil.
Yes. The left lane is in fact for crime.
Exactly. Well, in the case of these two bikers going northbound away from Nashville, they were using the sides of the road.
Oh yeah, riding on the white line.
Nah, they were way over the white line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One thing
someone very near and dear to me does that.
No, I don't trust it because I never know if anything is gonna pop up at the last second.
Yeah. The problem with going outside of where normal lanes of travel are is there tends to be a lot of debris, in that part of the road. Both visible, but then also stuff you can't see very easily. Rocks, broken glass, nails, God knows what that came off of a piece of a car because you don't have all that traffic going over it that kind of blows it away. So it accumulates, on that side of the line or like near a Jersey barrier, or where it can get really dicey is when you're merging. A lot of people get tempted to kind of go into that median area before the lanes actually merge, but there's usually so much crud right between those areas, and you don't want to catch that in your tire or anything.
No, you really don't. However, if we're going to start talking about merging, I think not the biggest, but one of the biggest things to remember is that on-ramp is meant for speeding up. That way you can match traffic, not for just sitting there and riding along like little Miss Daisy in her fucking wagon until you get to the fucking highway.
No, you speed up to merge. Oh, that is how that works. Which on a motorcycle is easy because you have an inherent speed and acceleration advantage, so you can match the traffic faster and find those gaps a lot easier.
Yeah, it's not motorcycles.
Do we really want to get into the conversation?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I in trouble?
No. As a truck driver, I could sit here and I will take over this podcast about traffic.
I mean, it's all for discussion. Like I wanted this one to be a more serious episode because safety's a very key thing. And you have a lot more time on the highway than probably all of us.
Blinkers. Blinkers.
And stay out of truck blind zones.
Blinkers.
Use your blinker. They literally have it spelled that way on the signs in Massachusetts.
I think that's just because they don't. They write how they talk.
That is exactly the reason. But yeah, no, that is a pretty nasty thing. Like even a lot of the near misses I see just between cars on the highway, I often think like a lot of times that could have been avoided if somebody had, I don't know, signaled before they went to change lanes or even just turn normally. You have people not doing that. And I know I said earlier that I don't like to rely on people being able to see me, but that doesn't mean that, doing the things that are like kind of visible and signaling are not a good idea, because they are a very good idea, as Paul points out.
Yep. In addition to using blinkers, don't just let it flash once and then swing over.
No. The signal is to signal intent, not what you're doing right in that moment.
Yeah, don't do it halfway into the maneuver either.
Nope.
No. There's 0 point to that in any stretch of the imagination.
It's supposed to be for what you are planning on doing or about to do, not what you are currently doing. That is the idea of signals.
Yeah.
You said it right. It's signaling intent, not reactive. It's intent.
Des, do you have any tips that you could offer through chat? And while we're waiting for her to respond, as a lot of people have seen, I have several different versions of my gear that I wear. I would like to get a pair of not Kevlar pants, but they have some that are like interwoven, and they have pockets for the armor if you really want it. But I mean, there's days, especially like today, that we go out. I would have gone out and it would have just been my Kevlar lined sleeves. Now, granted, if I'd actually gotten in an accident, it would have torn me up because I'd just be wearing a t-shirt. But I always have my helmet on.
Yeah, to me, I mean, and everybody's got like a different idea of what like minimum gear could be because everybody has their own idea of like what they're comfortable with in terms of risk. But for me, it's always helmet, gloves. You know, I always wear some kind of long sleeve. Although to be honest, I think that's more because I don't want to get my arms sunburned because I'm as pale as a sheet of paper. But I also am usually wearing long pants and then boots. You know, some type of good boots. Anything that does have actual motorcycle protection in it is obviously going to be a better idea than say just wearing regular jeans. I'm not going to say I don't do that, but
I'm always a blue jean.
Yeah, it's objectively a better idea to wear something that has like the armor in it and whatnot. I have trouble finding the jeans that I think properly fit me though. It always feels like the knee pads are in the wrong place. So.
Yeah, that's something that I've got to look at. I haven't dug too far into it, but I have that leather jacket for when it's like bitterly cold. That blue checkered Kevlar jacket that I have, and then those Kevlar sleeves. But I always have gloves, and since you brought up the boots, I always have my Indy Ridge.
Yeah. I will drop a quick hint that I may be acquiring a pair of those very soon and demonstrating and testing them. And that is as much as I will say at this point.
Whoops.
But stay tuned. So, yeah. Boots. But, one thing I do, because normally when I'm out riding, I'll normally often just be in a hoodie. One thing that I've been considering doing is I have like a very light sort of mesh padded jacket that actually has pads on it, and I'm considering I can wear that and just have the hoodie over it.
Right.
Just for some extra protection,
So, I thought I had muted this for when my wife yelled for the kids. I completely forgot I had to mute two different things now. Sorry, y'all.
Alright.
Totally my bad.
What shirt is my dad wearing? Hang on. Yeah, what shirt is that? Oh, it's one of the Laconia ones.
Oh, thank you.
It's fine. Thank you. He just got pizza.
Ah, okay.
We got pizza. He went and got the pizza.
So, I don't know. I can probably check and see how the stream sounds. And let's see. I gotta figure out how to do this. So, but yeah, go ahead. You have that mesh jacket. So
yeah. So I have it's actually the very first riding jacket I got. I got when I took BRC actually. I don't use it that much anymore, but I still hold on to it. But I often think it would make a good underlayer for something that I would want to have that has more insulation, but isn't necessarily armored because it has elbow pads and shoulder pads.
Yeah, go
and all that
ahead.
other stuff.
You have that mesh jacket. So
yeah. So I have it's actually the very first riding jacket I.
Okay. I was doing some checks. I'm sorry.
That's good.
So
I muted
actually
you guys for a minute. I went and got something to eat.
That's okay. I think we're all having a bite to eat because my wife just brought me my food too.
Good time.
I had KFC.
Hang on a minute. Dad, will you do me the world's biggest favor?
I haven't had KFC in a while.
Beer.
Oh, fuck yeah.
What?
That sounds really good.
I don't care either or, but I need some liquid.
Meatloaf.
And some beers.
Y'all got me on the food train. You're not gonna distract me with movie quotes right now. Meatloaf sounds phenomenal too.
Nunchuck.
So I really thought we'd have more viewers than what we do.
On my end, it says 1,
Yeah, I think
and
it's
I'm
Des.
on
Yeah,
it.
Oh,
Des.
well,
Des.
where's Paul?
So we're literally talking to ourselves so I can watch it on YouTube.
That works.
Sounds like every day of my life.
But you have to remember, Shade Tree, Josh and Shay did a pretty big thing. They gave away their Sportster in the Devil Tail today.
Yeah. Is that still
And
going on?
then, no, they ended it like 7:15.
Mm.
But then at 7:30, you had Mike Branch and then Whiskey Chase. I think Loose might be having one. They all congregated in for like 3 hours of Brap Star stuff.
Well, that happens.
Yeah. That's right. You guys can sit here and hear me chew. I don't care.
It doesn't bother
Checking
me.
the green border on mine to make sure you guys don't hear me chewing.
Yeah. But either way, I mean, again, getting back to the topic, safety's still paramount. And it's a good idea to get out and actually talk about it in a sense that doesn't involve showing videos of crashes and nitpicking the ever-living dog shit out of them.
Well, I think it's also, that everybody is going to make a mistake at some point. With luck, it doesn't always end catastrophically, but no one's perfect. No one's a perfect rider. Something will happen eventually. Just math.
Mm-hmm.
Do your walk around before you go out for a ride. Check your air pressures. Do your walk around, your lights, all that.
Peak locks.
Mm-hmm. That's especially
Keep
important.
hydrated.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think your inspections are especially important right now, especially here in Tennessee, where the mornings are in the 40s, the low 50s, and then it's 70, 80 by the afternoon. You're like, pretty sure my tire pressure's gone fucking wonky by this point.
Yeah, it's been like that here. Yesterday when I rode to work, I think it was 42 in the morning, and then it was 86 when I left.
Yeah. I layered up in the morning when I was riding this week, but I really had to shed layers. I was very thankful that I brought those sleeves in my saddlebag. I would have been roasting otherwise.
Yeah, my bags on the Scout aren't super big, but they're just big enough where in one of them, if I have it empty, if I fold up my heavy leather jacket, I can put it in there.
Yeah.
So it's very handy this time of year.
And going back to the angry comment, because even Des said that was a great tip. Now, I realize that nobody's perfect. Everybody's gonna get pissed off at somebody for being stupid. That's just a fact of life. It's trying to maintain that composure so that you don't do something you regret.
Right.
So,
I once watched a guy get angry because a driver pulled out in front of us. And it was a close call. I'll admit, pretty close call. But my thought process is, shit happens. Nothing happened. It was close. and then I saw this particular driver, and you all know him, get pissed off, and it's not me, if that's what you're smiling at.
Oh, no.
I watched this guy road rage something fierce for the next 20 minutes, and then finally road rage pass and slap his mirror, break the mirror off the pickup truck, and then for the next 24 hours, that's all they talked about that particular incident. And I was like, dude, shit happens. You vandalized the car. Yes, he almost killed you, but it didn't happen. And I found it very awkward.
Yeah. That's one of those situations. Getting mad doesn't do anything.
You know, it's a bad day when you have a close call, but why let it ruin your entire freaking day? That makes no sense to me.
It's Sid.
What's up, Sid?
You broke me.
That's what she said.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, how have you been?
I've been good. Also dealing with road rage.
I was like,
Jersey and
just the person to pop in as we're talking about road rage.
yes.
I'm sure you have some stories.
Yeah. I mean, in Jersey, it kind of happens every day. So, although I do have to say, I'm glad that Trucker Paul is here because one of the last times I've had to deal with road rage, a trucker actually got me out of the situation. So,
Ooh.
oh yeah. So I have this rule of thumb where it's like I try to the best of my ability to make room for trucks when they're coming in on the on-ramp. And when I was trying to make room for this guy, this car was just not letting. It was a white BMW,
Of course it was.
and they were just
Mm.
yeah, they were not letting us in at all. So, or they were not letting us move over so we could let the truck in. And what ended up happening is I went in front of the BMW, I slowed down, forcing him to slow down, and that allowed the truck to merge. Well, later down the
You
road,
are 100%. I'm going to stop you right there. You are 100% impeding traffic and
Yeah.
creating a huge issue for everyone. Who has
Yeah.
the right of way? That truck does not. You just maintain course. And in what you did, I love you, babe, but don't ever do that again.
well, that was actually, this was an instance where it was me doing the road rage. So, I went and I kind of slowed down. This guy was on our asses the entire time, he was making it kind of unsafe for us to drive, because he wouldn't want to go around us. Anytime we tried to go into a different lane, he would kind of speed up on our asses. So, I kind of took it upon myself to kind of slow down. But what ended up happening was, after driving down the road a little ways, this guy was still on our tails. We tried to merge away from him, couldn't, and then he ended up getting blocked by trucks. So, was I in the wrong? Definitely. But at the same time, like, honestly, dude, I had enough dealing with that guy. I just had enough.
Just remember, by you getting in front, because it sounds like they were road raging as well.
Yeah.
Just remember, all they have to do is bump you. All they have
That's
to do
true,
is just
yeah.
tap you, and they'll get a little scratch on their bumper, and you're gonna die.
Yeah, probably. I mean, and we were going pretty fast too, so 10 out of 10, I
Yeah.
probably would have died.
We can't be having that.
Yeah. It's been a while since I rode like that, but that was one of my experiences.
And I know the whole road rage thing on the bike. I am 100% that asshole on a motorcycle, but in a car and a truck, I'm like grandpa.
It's hard in those two lane situations too,
Yeah.
especially when you're getting pinched and there's like no way for you to get over.
Yeah, that's a very common type of occurrence on a certain section of 93 up here because it's the highest speed limit in the state, 70, but it's only 2 lanes
Yeah.
for most of it. And so you end up in this awkward situation where people in the right lane are doing 10 miles under the speed limit, 60, and the people in the left lane are doing 10 miles over the speed limit, at least 80. And it's you end up in this awkwardness where it's like, all right, I can either stay in the right lane and go, a lot slower than necessary, or I can be in the left lane and be going probably faster than might be safe, or get run over by somebody. So it's kind of a bad situation. And then there's just state troopers everywhere too on 93, which makes it fun.
Yeah. But like as a rule of thumb, I'll just like if I'm in the left lane, or sorry, not the left lane, the right lane for whatever reason, and I'm just like chugging along, or let's say I was merging to let other people pass me, I will either go over to the middle lane, or if it's a 2 lane scenario, I'll go over to the left lane. But like that happened a while ago. Um, Now I most definitely look, especially because Paul, you're not the first person to give me some some lip about it. Because yeah, no, it was totally stupid.
And we can't be losing our sentinel now.
Mm.
You still got
There's nothing I can't say. That truck driver may have just merged no matter what anyway. Because we're king of the road and we own these roads. Just ask any truck driver; they'll tell you. However, what you did was 100% the wrong way.
Yeah. Well,
Shame on you, Sid.
I know. I feel bad about it now. Well, I did then too, but dang, Paul, hurting my feelings.
Tried to be nice to a trucker, and now you're getting chewed out by one.
I
How
mean,
it
he's
goes.
totally in the right because I'm
He is right.
more at risk as the motorcyclist in the scenario. But it is extremely easy as a biker. Oh man, when I was on my FC, oh my gosh, like sport bikes are very easy to rage on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, especially the first year I got the Scout, which might not be setting land speed records, but I'll tell you, it's a heck of a lot faster than a 750 Honda Shadow. Yeah, I was that guy throughout a lot of the roads around here.
I think a lot of people have that phase when they get a new bike, especially if you're going from a smaller displacement to a larger displacement. Because I had a phase of that when I moved from the Sportster to the Lowrider. That I was like, I can do this and it go vroom.
Yeah.
The thing too is I found myself getting easily frustrated a lot, especially in situations where it really didn't call for it. But it's like I just there'd be somebody going maybe a few miles an hour under the speed limit, and I'd be like raging behind them, like get the fuck out of my way. But it's like in the end, what's it for?
Hmm. Have you found yourself, Paul, raging at all on the new road glide you got?
That it can't ride.
Oh yeah.
I just twist the throttle and get out of the situation, or get in the shoulder and pass everybody, or just I don't know. As a truck driver, I've learned a lot of patience, and there's a lot of dumb idiots out on the road. They could be the nicest people on the planet Earth. They could be your aunts and uncles and grandmas, but as soon as you put them behind that wheel, they turn into the devil. It's the strangest thing to see.
Hey, Tony.
So I just I just learned to back off, and they're in my life just as quick as they're out of my life if you just let them by. You know, so
I mean, if you get into a situation that you really need to, like the situation calls for, you could always do what is Blockhead's little thing? Drop a gear and disappear.
Yeah.
Now, granted,
You're the best.
Goldzilla is a lot more of a bike than I have.
A bike's a bike, man. You have a pretty awesome bike.
So do you.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, stop. Oh my god, it's like you have a lowrider.
I know, right?
But, yeah, I do have to say, the very first time that I had to lane split to get out of a situation, because, I've had there's been times where, like, cars were just right on my butt, and I was so done with the near misses on the Merit, and people almost hitting the back of my bike and causing me to crash. And it wasn't even at high speed, this was at, like, low speed when it's bumper to bumper. And, like, I had my bike loaded down, I was going out to camp, you know, going through, across the Merritt Parkway, and all these people were just right on my ass. They were looking on their phones, not paying attention to anything. I'm like, you know what? I gotta cool it, because if I see another person on their goddamn phone that hits the back of my bike, or almost hits the back of my bike, I'm gonna lose it. So I ended up lane splitting all the way over to the next rest stop, just to kind of cool off. It was 90 degrees out, tempers were flaring, but definitely needed to just like go off to the side and just chill out for a bit. Got a slushy. It was great.
Are you talking the Merritt Parkway in Connecticut?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm quite familiar with that road. Yeah, it's actually awful. That when I'm usually traveling anywhere, that is my least favorite stretch right there.
Yeah.
It just sucks because the areas around it is nice. It should be like a nice ride, but that is, I think, home to the actual worst drivers in the Northeast. Is the Merritt Parkway.
Yeah.
I'm just thankful Sid's not going to be coming on 24 into Tennessee. Well, on the Tennessee portion.
And she's absolutely right too. The reason everything gets so bad on that, and the other thing too is like I don't care what time you travel on that thing, you're always going to hit a traffic jam somewhere. At least I have.
Okay.
You could be there at 3 in the morning and you will hit a traffic jam somewhere. Well, what happens is because and it's not usually because there's too many cars on it. It should be fine for the volume of traffic that's there. But the thing is everybody on that freaking road drives this far off of each other's bumpers. So what happens is when somebody has to do anything to slow down, which they do because you have all those, as you know, you have all those exits that just come right onto the road there. When somebody's got to hit their brakes, everybody then has to slam on their brakes to avoid getting into a rear-end collision. And it just creates this horrific chain reaction for traffic. And then it'll just create these traffic jams out of nowhere. And then even when you're flying, yeah, you're that far off of each other's bumper. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
You have to have like a good, I call it a buffer zone. So you have to have a good buffer zone. And like when you're trying to have a buffer zone, there's always that person behind you trying to push you like, why are you driving so slow? Why are you leaving so much space? It's like, well, someone might want to merge. I don't want I don't want to get in someone's way. That's not how I want to be anymore. I'm not like a speed demon or anything.
Right.
Anymore.
Well, especially there too. It's like, well, if you rear end somebody, you're gonna wreck your mom's Passat that you borrowed. But if I rear end somebody, I'm gonna die. So,
Yeah.
Different things here.
Yeah. Actually, was Trucker Paul telling stories about road rage incidents before I got on?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Can you tell more stories, Trucker Paul?
Story time with Step Trucker. He's got us muted right now.
He does. Apparently, he didn't want to listen to me rant about the Merritt Parkway.
That's understandable. I was actually supposed to be on the Merit like an hour ago.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was gonna do a road trip up to Massachusetts.
And you didn't tell me?
Well, I was going to, and then I ended up not going.
Oh,
We could grab a beer tomorrow, though, if you want.
good. If you come up this way.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna be going up to, like, I'm going to the Bellricket area.
Okay.
That might be a hike for you.
Yeah, little bit. I do have stuff I'm doing around here for most of the day tomorrow. I think Sunday it's supposed to rain too.
Yeah, there's like a little window. There's like a little opening. I'm gonna like thread the needle, like through the rainstorms back home.
Yep. Might run into this guy though.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So what route are you taking to come down to the Weirdos Assemble campout, Sid?
Actually, that's a great question. I was gonna start out on 81. Let me Google Maps this really quick.
I'm on 81. Oh. Trying to think. So if you go down 81, you can go to Bristol, or ish, and then cut straight across, or you can go to Bristol over to, what is it, Gatlinburg, so you can hit the tail, and then come up through Nashville, which that's a route. That's like,
It's gonna be like 14 hours.
yeah.
Yeah, without stops.
That last Sunday of the camp out you guys are doing, what time do you think you guys will be probably clearing out of there?
I think we have to clear out noon.
Okay.
But the last day of the TMMR is free.
Yeah, because I might be I'm meeting some of the other Shade Tree Discord people out in Missouri that weekend. But when I go back that Sunday, although it's not the main route I could take, I could angle a little bit south and end up kind of coming through that area-ish of Tennessee, Kentucky, land between the lakes. So we'll have to see how that works out.
Well, I mean, Aaron is not leaving till the 20. Yeah. No, he's leaving the 21st. So yeah, we're all clearing out at the same time.
Yeah.
No?
That's where I was thinking about going, but that's like a basic route.
Hang on.
I don't really have anything like super special planned. I was just gonna get there because I think I got the 18th off.
Ooh, you could swing through, grab Nar. Yeah. Interesting.
I just typed in a random Walgreens.
I mean, I do the same thing.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good little trip.
Yeah, so Aaron was actually supposed to join us from the bike show, or not the bike show, but the first bike night.
Yeah, I got the 18th off, I believe, so I could actually start my trip on the 17th, and then I might camp somewhere. Like, I'll ride as far as I can, and then if I get too tired or whatever, I'll just camp somewhere.
Okay.
And then, like, finish up the trip. But I'd like to see if I could do the whole 14 in one go.
That's what I did for Forgotten Ages, baby.
Yeah, I really want to do that Iron Butt.
Speaking of Nar, you
Thank you.
little rat bastard. Get your ass in here.
Trucker
We
Paul,
have
you
Sid.
still here?
He's got us muted.
Oh.
Oh, getting back on topic. I know this is a hell of a rewind. Sid, what are your suggestions for motorcycle safety at the start of the riding season? Or in general?
Tire pressure checks and check your bolts because losing an exhaust sucks.
I really want to hear the story behind this. I bet you went completely radio silent, and all of us were like, "What the fuck?"
Oh yeah.
So explain this.
Well, work's been really kind of just kicking my ass, but apparently when I purchased my bike, I didn't get any information about the exhaust system. Two Brothers exhaust has an issue with the end cap falling off randomly. On the way back from FA, I was riding along, and at one point it got so cold that my fingers were just turning purple within about 10 minutes of riding.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided, hey, had enough, pulled off, got some heated gloves. The next morning, so we got to our campsite. I wasn't able to get the heated gloves put into the bike because it was a wired system. It had a harness. So I pulled into the campsite, got everything set up, and I was like, in the morning I'll put it into the bike. So as I'm getting ready to do this little procedure on the bike, I'm walking up, I look down at my exhaust, and my end cap's missing, along with a component for the inside of the exhaust.
So she's loud as shit now.
Yeah, well, not anymore. I fixed that today.
Oh,
But,
okay.
yeah, so like some stuff fell off the bike, and I was like, what the hell happened? Apparently one of the rivets failed, and everything just went.
Bet it sounded good though.
Yeah, it did. It kind of looked stupid, but it sounded good.
That 114 unleashed. Mm.
Yeah. He was pretty happy, but I wasn't.
I'm sure your gas mileage wasn't either.
No, it wasn't. But it is what it is. Everything's fixed now. I re-riveted everything today, so
Oh, good.
hopefully it'll hold up for the next trip. But yeah. Also, apparently, there's this like material that you have to pack into the exhaust, and on their website it says you should be changing that every 3,000 miles. And that was just weird because I never thought I'd have to do that with an exhaust. But apparently it's like, yeah, apparently it's common with the Two Brothers exhaust systems.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
I didn't read that on my Vance and Hines, but Two
The
Brothers
Vance and
did.
Hines maybe not. Yeah, Two Brothers is a little, I don't know, it was just really weird because when I bought the bike it didn't even, cross my mind, and then I looked at that little thing in the maintenance and care, and I was like, oh shit, I'm 15,000 miles overdue. So,
You're probably not the
that's-
only one.
Yeah. I know Marvel Kid 87, he actually had a similar issue, but not everything fell out because he doesn't have the riveted version. But his end cap fell off, and it almost fell off. It was hanging on by a singular screw. And no, before anyone says anything about Loctite does not work on exhaust systems because you use heat to powderize Loctite to release it. So it's almost pointless to put it into an exhaust or onto an exhaust bolt.
Are there any of the Loctite varieties that would be heat resistant?
No, I mean even red Loctite, especially with the exhaust system gets so hot. When I was doing research on it, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong in chat, because I do be wrong sometimes.
Oh,
But,
hang on. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
So, yeah, the Loctite will degrade if it's exposed to anything over a certain temperature, and exhaust systems, specifically on my system, can get up to about 750 degrees.
All right. Yeah, because I may have some info here, but first let me try something. Give me a second.
Fail.
What's he doing?
He unplugged his microphone and still tried to talk. Bruh. So did you reserve a campsite, Sid, or are you staying on one of ours?
I was gonna stay on one of your guys, but I don't mind reserving if I
No,
have to.
you're good. We got 24 people's worth right now.
Awesome.
Am I back? Yeah, I'm back. All right, that did not work. Anyway, I have a machinist sitting like maybe 10 feet over there, and I was going to ask him if there are any Loctite varieties that are heat resistant.
What?
Like if you're
What?
using it on an exhaust,
He's like, the fuck you want?
pretty much.
You'd have to look. We use blue and red on power supplies. They got to about 180 degrees. Throw an X-ray, they work fine. Green Loctite will bond metal to metal pretty much almost impenetrable. And it's used in many applications it possibly can. And Loctite will make a product that is heat resistant. I guarantee you that.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Yup.
Okay. All right.
I double checked. I didn't see anything with the temperature rating that I needed, but also I didn't know that the green Loctite melded metal together. So that's pretty dang cool.
JB Weld for metal.
I will say, but yeah, on that note of Loctite and checking bolts, I did run into a similar issue, not with my exhaust, but with the mounting spools for one of my saddlebags once. When we were headed out to Arkansas last year to sort of do our meetup there, I was riding through St. Louis, actually, with Shaker. And at one point, when we stopped for gas, I discovered that one of my bags was, like, hanging only on one spool and actually making contact with my belt and the big flywheel back there. So apparently one of the screws had backed out that holds the little spool on there, and the whole thing had come down. It's funny, when I went to install them, there were these little placeholders that Indian puts in the holes where they go. And when I was taking those out, I noticed that at the factory, just on the threads, they had used a ton of blue Loctite, or whatever thread lock or equivalent they had, because there's actually different types. But they just used like an ungodly amount of it. And I even made a comment to my dad. I was like, "Geez, guys, use enough of this stuff." Well, that should have been a hint that when I was putting the spools and their own screws back in, that maybe I should have added some Loctite myself. But it wasn't mentioned in the instructions, and I didn't think to do it. And discovered in St. Louis that, yeah, no, that's probably something you should do. As soon as I got home, I took all those bolts out, got myself a tube of blue Loctite, redid all of them, and made sure they were torqued down properly that time.
Everything that has
yeah,
come off siren and gone back on, or has been installed, has had
Rowdy.
Loctite installed. There he is. It's about to get rowdy, y'all.
Oh boy, here we go.
I don't know if you could see that. Okay, so you see that thing
Yeah.
that looks like a gasket?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you're pointing something at me.
I'm sorry. All right, so that red right there that looks like a gasket, the previous owner had put red Loctite on the fork bolt on like the bolts for the bar risers. I can't remove it, and I'm too chicken shit to put heat on it.
I mean, most risers come with their own bolts now, so you don't really need those.
Nah, the one I got didn't.
I mean, I can send you mine because I still have them.
Oh no, that was when I first got the bike.
Oh, okay.
I just have these bars here now, so if anyone wants them, I can sell them to you.
Yeah, 'cause I
Red Loctite included.
keep all the parts for Siren in a locker, like all the stock parts. That way, if I ever go to trade it in for something that will still use all these parts, I'm just going to throw the stock shit back on. Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, when I sold my Shadow, the guy I sold to, I had like a big plastic tote bin of like all sorts of random parts and accessories and manuals, and I'm like, here, added sweetener. This is yours now, bud.
Yeah. So, chat, how are we tonight? Our topic for the night is safety. For those of you that are just tuning in, Rowdy briefly appeared and then vanished. Paul is handling something. He'll be back. We finally got Sid back. And I've got Yankee with me. So, if
Can't get rid of me. I'm like an infection.
if
Does
any
anyone
of
have
you...
any?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Sid.
Oh no, you're good. I was interrupting you.
Okay. So if any of you in the chat have any suggestions for safety that you want us to bring up, by all means, put them in and we'll bring them up. Some of the things that have already been mentioned is keep your cool and try your best not to rage. Proper gear, T-clocks, to include tire pressure checks, circus bear. And there's been a few other things. We'll have to go back through the VOD and look. I'm not writing this shit down. Loctite is your best friend, though.
Loctite is wonderful. I am trying to join the YouTube chat from another device. I like safety, so I had to hop on. Like, my night got weird, but now it's less weird, and I'm here with you guys. Because safety's kind of my jam.
Can't hear Goon. It says it's transmitting.
I can only see Sid on YouTube.
Bump it up a little bit. I'm looking at the screen. I'm looking at what's projecting on YouTube.
I'm on my phone. Phone's
Can
dumb.
you guys hear me now?
Yeah, dog.
I don't see. I don't know. Maybe I'm just high.
If y'all can't hear, you might want to bounce and reconnect.
'Cause I don't- There he is.
Hey.
Yeah. Don't text and ride. Nar. Get off your fucking phone, little brother.
Wait, do we have Nar? Oh, we got Nar in the chat.
Nar's in chat.
Hey, Ron.
Riding home. And
He
texting.
texted you? He texted you while riding home?
He's in chat right now.
So, I did have a couple of points that I had kind of put together, that I kind of keep together in my head about driver behavior to look out for. Kind of cager behavior, but obviously that applies to motorcycles too. Just weirder points that kind of occurred to me over the years. It dawned on me one day that, you know, we have speed limits for a reason, and everybody's like, oh, but speed's rarely a factor in auto accidents, which honestly is kind of true. But your speed affects the reaction time of other drivers. And that's one of those kind of, I don't know, different things that a lot of riders tend to avoid.
Well, but
There
step
does kinda-
tracker. No.
What are you doing?
Stickers in the Goon shop.
going out.
Shameless plug.
Like, so, you know, ATGAT, dad bod, Nazis, like, you know, we V-Strom riders, we know that.
Yay!
Wearing all gear all the time. But, squids, squids, wee little squids.
No. No.
There's no squids here.
Much gooder.
Very different definitions, actually, of what constitutes a squid. Which version do you guys operate under?
I don't operate under it at all because Yami says it.
Dangerous vehicle operations. Yami didn't invent squid. Not to argue, but he didn't invent squids. Squids were around before Yami was around.
I don't want to crank up the volume too much for chat because I could always get right here and make it really loud, and I don't want to make that like stupid loud.
You don't want Goon ASMR?
I do.
Of
But
course,
I don't-
Paul does.
To me, squidding is not as much of a what gear you wear, what do you do to protect yourself type of thing, as much as it's a what do you do to be courteous to other drivers type of thing. You know, are you aware of other people's level of awareness? Is kind of a, like, you know, everybody's trying to kill you, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, like, when you really think about what might distract another driver, it puts you, all of your riding behavior in a different perspective. If the sun is behind you, then other drivers aren't going to be able to see you, whether they're distracted or not. That's a blind spot issue. That's a weather issue. That's not a, you know, that's not necessarily a you versus them or anything like that. It's just suddenly I've got the sun behind my back, and that means that oncoming traffic can't see me as well.
I mean, yeah, that one plays a lot into when you're going, especially in that, I'm trying to get these right in my head. Morning going to Nashville, the sun is in your eyes on the highway, so you can't see shit. In the evening, coming back from Nashville on I-24 is a fucking nightmare.
East versus west. Yep.
Yeah. And it's always when I forget to bring my fucking dark lenses and my sunglasses.
And so sometimes one of the smartest things that you can do is adding some zigzags to your route. Like, if you're on a road that's a 2-lane road with a speed limit of 45 miles an hour, you are on a very dangerous road for motorcyclists, plain and simple. And if you're on that road at dusk and it's an easterly, westerly road, you probably just shouldn't be on that road at dusk. Like, yeah, you got to get somewhere, sure, but if you have to be on a road at dusk, find an interstate. Find something that doesn't have oncoming traffic in the immediate lane. Like, find something with a divider.
Yeah.
Those are things that I think can help. So find something that doesn't have stoplights, doesn't have, ingresses that are like, hidden. Those things help me.
Yeah. So we're going to switch topics for just a second. Sid, would you like to explain to Tony what ASMR is?
ASMR is when you have someone talking really quietly into the mic with a lot of clicks and stuff, and they're talking in a really soothing voice. That's what ASMR is.
One time at band camp.
Oh my god.
Step trucker got stuck in the dryer. Or was it Nar?
I think it was Nar. He better not say anything to that if he's still on his bike. But yeah, so that's what ASMR is. It helps some people go to sleep, or some it gives. What is it? It gives tingles, right? It gives you
if you hit the right
yeah.
frequencies, it can send different senses that your body will actually pick up on it. It's really fucking weird.
Autonomous.
That's how Goon sounds.
Autonomous
Listen, we could
sensory
make this
meridian
really
response.
awkward, and I'm not that level of drunk, so we're not
Next
going
weekend.
there.
On Weirdos
Boy, I'm
Assemble.
here, you guys.
Oh yeah.
An
Sid breathes
ASMR
heavy.
stream? Oh.
Sid breathes heavy while Goon stares off in the distance. The Mad Yankee smiles. And we listen to Rodney snore.
It's too real.
Too real.
We
I
could
feel
do
attacked.
what's his name, Howard Stern did.
I love it.
I know
What are you
some
gonna-
people also describe ASMR as having a calming effect, which is why a lot of people treat Bob Ross like ASMR, and they just listen to him paint his little happy trees and relax.
I actually watched a video on that the other day where people took all of his paintings and just stacked them in chronological order, and it made a fucking journey. It's probably to where he hit all of his bodies.
Stop doing him for me.
Everybody's got a dark secret somewhere. Okay, anyway, Rowdy, back to your topic now that we've thoroughly discussed what ASMR is. Yeah, Tony, he's taking his bike to get it fixed tomorrow. And I'm going to ride behind him and then pass him and then ride in front of him and then slow down and then I'm just going to make circles around Paul on my bike.
Well, I'm in my U-Haul.
Yeah. I got a bike.
That's so fucked. How dare
I would never do that to Paul.
Yes, you would.
Not to that
Why?
degree.
You absolutely would.
I'll 100% ride my bike, but I won't do that. That's next level dick.
Depends on who you do it to, but
I'm afraid I might be the next one that Step Trucker finds stuck.
Just gonna sip my tea.
At the end of the month, we will be watching Two-Wheeled Goon getting unstuck from the dryer.
When I get that feeling, that fucker healing.
You gotta wear a wig though if you get stuck in the dryer. Like, oh no, my wig is stuck. Step Trucker, help.
Step Trucker healing is something that's good. Wait.
I'll be sitting there trying to pull it out. Hey! Now, all of a sudden I'll hear Paul. Hey! What?
Oh, actually, hold on. Back to safety. Aside from
noises
don't
come
wear
later.
wigs while taking stuff out of the dryer. What would you, Paul, give advice to... What advice would you give to motorcyclists who are passing trucks or who are dealing with a lot of truck traffic on the road?
I would like to hear the trucker's perspective.
Yes.
Well, a good truck driver will see these motorcyclists and they will keep an eye on them. You're going to see them in your West Coast mirror, and your mirror's a ways away because their headlights, especially on the newer bikes, the headlights are so bright. They just stand out. But as far as a motorcyclist, push that throttle and get by us because a tire can blow at any given time. If you're passing in the hammer lane, get over onto the yellow line when you pass, because when you get in front of when you get past the truck, there's going to be a wall of air coming off the front of that truck, that wind displacement, and that can blow you over. So get over as far left as you can, and never pass a truck on the left. Never pass a truck on the left-hand side, ever, even in a car. But twist that throttle, get past us. Don't hover there. Never hover. Don't stall. Don't just get by us. You'll be doing everyone a favor.
Yeah.
I don't sit beside a truck unless I have to.
Yeah. So when you say never pass on the left, now just to clarify, because the way I took that was if a truck is in the left lane making his passing maneuver, never
Correct.
be in the center and then pass him, because he's obviously going to try to merge back.
Yeah, what I meant to say is don't pass them on the right side, on the passenger side. Don't pass a truck on the right side. You shouldn't do that generally anyway, because that's not how it works, but we all know how that goes. But never pass a truck on the right, because our blind spots on the right-hand side are way greater than our driver's side. That's what we call our C side. But yeah, just twist that throttle, bump it up 5, 6, 7 miles an hour to get by us, and make it quick. Make it a quick pass.
Yeah,
And for any viewers that are overseas, obviously it's less of a left and right issue, more as it's a driver side, passenger side issue. And so for Americans that jump the pond and head over to the land of the weirdos where they drive on the wrong side of the road, keep all those rules to the other side, because you're as a driver of a large cage or any cage, your closer mirror is the one that you're going to be the one that's what you're going to be paying attention to, because it's less of a look, et cetera. Your blind spot is much smaller on that side, whereas you have a much wider blind spot on the other side. But when it's trucks, also you can look at a truck's mirrors, and some trucks are outfitted with great mirrors. Some trucks are outfitted with crap mirrors. They don't have the nice domed mirrors, and so they might not see you. If you're next to the truck, chances are they can't see you. And there's also risk of tire blowout, like Paul said. So just overtake quickly, and don't slide right. Actually, here in Jacksonville, we do a lot of real heavy rush hour traffic in the mornings, and I see a lot of people just cut off a truck.
Yeah.
Just consider a vehicle's weight. Like, even if it's not a semi, if it's a dually with with a trailer that has power equipment on the back. Don't cut it off and expect it to be able to stop on a dime. Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
No.
General,
That might be
general
you.
rule of thumb is don't get in front of that truck until you see the top of the roof of that truck in your mirror. That's the general rule.
For me, as a shorty, like I'm 5'5", so sometimes I have to be quite a ways down the road before I see the top of the truck. So, actually, Sky mentioned this in the chat, but he says generally 7 car lengths, and I would
Yeah.
I would have to agree with that too. That's how much space I usually like to give as well, depending on like how
Yeah,
much
that's a good call. I did see that too, Tony.
I'm
That-
short, so I
that's
just look
segue-
over my shoulder and I'm like, yeah, looks good.
That segues really well into follow distance. If you're riding at the back of the pack, like if you're just hauling ass and you're coming up on pack after pack, and you're half a car length away from whoever's in front of you, and you decide, oh, I'm in a situation where I might need to swerve, like consider also the distance of the vehicles in the adjacent lanes. If you have to swerve, you need to be far enough back that both lanes are fairly open. Yes, on bikes, we're lucky in that we're narrower, and if we really have to, we can, lane split, lane filter, whatever. But just don't leave that tight a margin for error. Like, if somebody's on your ass in the left, pull over to the right. This is simple stuff that we all know instinctually, but at the same time, you have to consider their ability to pass, adjacent lanes' ability to pass. This mostly applies to like interstate driving, but also it applies in urban areas. If you're in a semi-urban area, and I think of like downtown as like a deep urban area, but the towns that typically people live in, where it's 3 lanes and a Starbucks over here, it's also worth considering then too. Like at low speeds, this stuff matters. At high speeds, this stuff matters. Just be aware of how far away everything else is. I don't know. That's probably not worded very well, but those of us that have, been behind the handlebars, we can kind of think of that.
Yeah, all solid points.
Well, now that we have a bigger audience and more people to discuss this, but the first 19 hours of this podcast, it was just me, Goon, and Yankee. We were talking about the intersections. When you're crossing intersections, always be prepared. Give that little hesitant look. Don't get on the throttle to get through the intersection. Let off the throttle. Cover your brake. And try to look both ways before crossing that intersection. If you're at a red light or a stoplight, always, if that light turns green, don't drop the clutch and floor it. Hesitate just that 30 second. No, well, not that long. Maybe 3 seconds and look both ways. We all just lost a guy that none of us knew, but we all loved because of an intersection T-bone out in Arizona.
Yeah.
Because of that particular instance.
There's another one that occurs to me just now. It's something I've been doing lately because all of my riding is like deep urban core for the most part. I live in like college town area, and so we have a lot of obstacles. A lot of times it's I have a lot of drivers that live near me, truck drivers, and so they'll park their rigs, and their rigs are fine where they are. I don't mind, but they do make it a little bit more difficult to see on certain roads with speed limits higher, like in excess of like 40 miles an hour. And so that I've witnessed bad accidents there, at those intersections. One of my most recent approaches that I've started doing is I'll pull, and I don't know if this is the best advice, but to my right, I can see that there's no oncoming traffic because there's no obstacle there. And so I'll pull into that lane a little bit just to check whether or not there's going to be traffic coming from the left. And if there is traffic, I can back up fairly easily because I know that on the right side, I don't have anybody coming. I don't know if it's probably not legal, that advice, because you are kind of in the intersection at that point and you should either commit or go back home. But also, it's just one of those fuzzy areas where, like, as a rider, you know, I can abide by the law or I can not die. And so I'll scooch into the road a little bit, get a good view with no obstacles there, and then I'll proceed if I have it. If I don't have it, I'll just back it up, hold the clutch, and push the bike back.
Well, the key is having that hesitation, let off the fuel, untwist and cover the brake. That's the big thing, and looking both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, your clutch plates are readily replaceable. Your body is not.
Exactly.
So, what was the rest of this other story that you were going to tell us now that we have other people in here?
Oh, in 15 minutes, we're going to see Sid sit on a speaker. Awkward.
Is it a bass?
Yeah.
All right, good.
No, what else did we talk about when it was just the three of us? It was the intersections and blinkers. That blinkers. Always use your blinkers.
Blinkers. Keep calm. No, we beat that one to death.
Don't road rage.
Yes. Check your ego.
Oh yeah.
Ride more. Ride a lot more. Like, that sounds antithetical, but go ride as often as you can, daily or bike if you can. Like, just practice, and don't stop. If it helps, let your timing belt fail and let your minivan blow up, and then you'll kind of be forced to practice.
I've been riding a lot of years, and I still, in parking lots, I'll still do figure eights. I'll do that slow stuff as best as I can. And now that I've got this big old honky Harley with the ape hangers, it's a brand new bike to me. I'm kind of scared when I ride it, so I've been riding it very, very cautiously. The 1,400 miles that I've done. But I'll be doing a lot of parking lot driving with that, just doing circles and figure eights and right circles, left circles. I've been riding for 23 years and I'm still doing that crap.
Do you ever, like, try to do the emergency stop on that big white strip at the intersections?
Emergency stop. Oh, we can skid across that stop.
Yeah, like try to just come right in the middle of that big white strip, like just plant it right down. I do that sometimes.
No, that thing's slick. You kick your front out on doing that.
I'm not saying do it in the rain.
Actually, there's a lot of riding groups in my area where they'll have 2 to 3 days out of the month where we do a group ride, and at the end of the group ride, we all practice parking lot maneuvers, and we all get together and we all put out there's one person who brings the bag of cones, and we'll just practice maneuvers. And there's some people, especially our blockers, they always stay the extra hour or so to practice. And it's just amazing how much you get in tune with your motorcycle just from doing this, and just the amount of experience some of the other people have too. You learn so much from it, and they'll teach each other little techniques on how to improve your leaning and stuff like that, and what'll help in slow speed versus high speed maneuvers. It's pretty damn awesome.
Well, let me. Can I test you guys? I'm gonna test the Mad Yankee here. When you cover your front brake, explain to me how you cover your front brake.
How I cover
And when you
the
use it.
front brake?
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, I don't consciously think about how I do it that hard. I just sort of do it. What I'm gonna guess that I do, if I can sort of put my hand out and kind of try and visualize it, I think what I do is I kind of, this is probably wrong in some way, but I likely have my thumb still on the throttle, and then I might have my fingers sort of over the brake like that.
Okay. That's the correct way. You use all 4 of your fingers. You know how many drivers or riders only use 2 fingers? Their middle finger and point finger. That is so unsafe and so out of control to me.
Yeah, I have the stock levers on my Scout are kind of beefier than they need to be, and the idea of actually trying to control them with just 2 fingers sounds like it'll just wear them out really, really quickly. I have heard some riders doing that and some encouraging that, but with not necessarily with the brake, but more with the clutch. I think they'll do that.
So I'm a 2-finger guy, but I don't cover. I never cover. I apply lightly now, and I've only ridden one Harley, and I've noticed that the brakes on that thing are awesome. And I'm not used to awesome brakes because I ride a Suzuki. I'm used to crappy brakes, and so I apply a scooch, which turns on my lights, and also it burns my pads up a little bit, but I don't know. That's just how I've always done it. If I was only covering, it would probably be less safe. But since I'm actively applying a little bit, and my brakes aren't lock 'em up brakes, my brakes will slow you down when we get around to it brakes. I find it helps a little bit. So I think maybe it's a difference of machines.
So I use 2 on my clutch, but I'll have 2 that are ready, like at any given time to get the brake if it needs to. But if I'm in a situation like during slow speed maneuvering, I will have all 4 and just be controlling the throttle with more of the pad of my palm than with my actual fingers as I'm rolling on and off, just in case I need to apply that quick slow pressure. Well, not quick, slow steady pressure, I guess you could say.
Who here?
Just say
I'm
that-
sorry.
No, it's okay. But I would have to say it's also what makes you feel comfortable with braking. Because if you know that you have a harder clutch, or sorry, not a hard clutch, my bad. Like a lot of the brakes on Harleys, they're good, but sometimes it's a little hard to apply the full brake pressure with just 2 fingers. Because not only is the clutch lever really stiff, but the brake is as well. But it's really what you feel comfortable with. I think when I'm riding, if there's an oh shit situation or there's a bunch of people around me, I'll hover my whole hand over the brake because I'm not sure what's about to happen, and I want that full grip strength. Because I've been in accidents before. I've been in work-related accidents, and I have nerve damage. So I want all of the strength I have to be able to apply to that brake if needed. But if I'm just cruising around, there's not a lot of traffic near me, I feel comfortable, I'm paying attention, I know who's around me, I'll like hover 2 fingers over with the intention of being ready. But like I'd have to get to that point of alertness to have to like feel unsafe enough to put and hover my whole 4 fingers over it.
Who here uses front brake more than back brake?
Me. I'm like all front brake all the time.
I'm terrible at I'm always using my back brake.
That's safer.
It feels unnatural when I'm slowing down to start with the front brake. And when I put my new, the mini floorboards on the lowrider, and I could barely get my foot, like I'd have to arch my leg in a weird way to get to my my rear brake pedal. It felt so unnatural to have to actually use more of my hand coming up to a red light.
So, I brake based on the way that I notice cars brake. when I apply pressure to the pedal in my minivan, it'll engage the front brakes first, and then it will eventually engage the rear. And honestly, that's how I know that my rear pads need to be replaced versus my front pads, or vice versa. If I feel an immediate shudder, my front pads are gone. If I feel an eventual shudder or a shimmy, then that means my rear pads are gone. And so what I do is I start with my front brake and then I apply my rear, because I'm terrified of a high side. When I'm in an emergency stopping situation, I will apply both brakes fairly evenly, but I will never let off the rear. I'll let off the front because that high side, low side stuff scares the crap out of me. Like, I just don't want to break my legs. I need them. I'm kind of attached to them, and I like using them.
He's also allergic to pain.
Not a big fan of pain. No, pain sucks.
My right hand and my right ankle essentially are pretty much linked at this point. So pretty much just instinctually, whenever I'm going to brake, I'm always applying them both. I am, of course, applying more force with the front because I get more feedback on that, and I can kind of tell what the bike is doing more with the front. But I'm pretty much always using both. I'm also one of those people, like, to keep myself from rolling around in an intersection, I usually leave my right foot on the rear brake just to kind of hold me in place while I leave my hands free to do whatever. And I just hold up with the left leg.
No, I'm at an intersection, rear brake, clutch. I'm not one of the ones that puts it in neutral. And then I'll sit there and I'll wait. And then, because I have a fear of seeing someone just come screaming up behind me, and I'm like, no, I'm out of here. Deuces.
Well, there was this one time I was watching this video on YouTube, right? And there was these two guys in Tampa on motorcycles, and all of a sudden there was this Kia come rolling up the left lane, about to crush the both of them. So, yeah, no, when I first started riding, I pretty much just always kept it in gear, but that's because, I wasn't super confident with the shifting yet. A couple of people were like, nah, you should put it in neutral, it's less. But then I forget what I was doing, but I think I was listening to, it might have been High Side, Low Side, the Revzilla podcast. But I think one of them mentioned, like, yeah, no, it actually, in theory, it's always a better idea to keep it in gear. That way, if you need to escape the situation quickly, you're going to be able to do it quicker by just letting the clutch out and going, rather than thinking to shift it into gear and then go.
Goon, just like you think using the front brake is foreign to you, and you use the back brake. Putting it at neutral while you're sitting at red lights or whatever, that might as well be just Chinese writing to me. I've tried getting in the habit, and I go, that's just stupid. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, it's nice when you're sitting in traffic for a while and you're like, all right, we're not going fucking anywhere fast. I can put it in neutral for a little bit, but if I'm at a red light and I'm ready to go, it's just like, all right, no, just in case, because the one time I'm gonna do it is the one time somebody's gonna fucking nail my ass.
Mm-hmm. If I've been stopped a lot and my left hand is just freaking killing me at that point, then yeah, I'll put it in neutral and just like kind of shake my hand out and give it a rest for a minute. But ideally, I like to keep it in gear.
Neutral is the magic light changer. When you finally get it into neutral, the light changes.
Have a good time with your pops, Juice. I mean, he's not wrong, but I'd rather just sit there and suffer.
Yeah, Yankee, see, you put it in neutral, give your left hand a little rest, shake it out or whatever, and you're like, oh, thank God. I am famous for just turning the bike off and doing that instead of putting the bike in neutral.
Yeah, I can see that.
Why?
Your batteries last longer than mine.
Because now the bike's not going to roll because you're in gear, right? You can shake your hand out. It's not going to roll forward or backwards and wherever you are. You don't have to hang on to the brake at that point. I mean, it's not a common occurrence. Not like every red light I'm turning my bike off, but I have been in that instance. In riding Gold Wings, I know that bike is going to start up every freaking time. Now, the Harley, I might not do that very much.
But now that you're here on a Harley, everybody gets to hear it start again.
Right. Well, you get that little initial bump. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Going back, speaking of ASMR, the
Yeah, right.
Harley startup sound.
Potato,
Yeah, yeah.
potato.
Well, just that way they start up to that, like you can hear it trying to build pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever practice off-road?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
On a
No.
dirt bike.
I would like to, but I don't know if you've ever seen a scout try to go off road. It is not a pretty sight, let me tell you.
So the name is a lie.
Absolutely.
False advertisement.
I mean, what are you scouting?
Bars.
Exactly.
Rowdy, do you take your sport bike off-road?
My dual sport, because Keyshawn's a dual sport. When I first bought it, I bought it specifically because it was relatively okay off-road. My first choice for my first motorcycle was a KLR, but that didn't work out. And I saw the V-Strom 650, and I said, Keyshawn just spoke to me, and I spoke to it. And I said, all right, I'm going to buy you now. I'm going to put you on a credit card because I'm poor. And then I'm going to leave. And I had just gotten my motorcycle endorsement like the week before or the month before. And I went like an hour, like a good 2 hours away to buy it. And I rode it home, and my dad was behind me, and he was terrified of motorcycles. And so he followed me back because he was a supportive guy. And so anyway, yeah, they lived on a dirt road. My parents' place was like in the middle of a very equestrian community, and so at one point it had it's got a ton of dirt roads in the area. So they lived on a dirt road, a pretty big sandy dirt road because it's Florida.
Sorry about that.
And so I did put like they're probably like 60/40 tires on it that I'm running at least the rear now. And so I do my fair share of off-roadish sugar sand type stuff on the V-Strom.
Nice. I gotta do that with the Harley.
Do it.
Yep,
Just-
sorry, I had to.
just- Stay married to your rear brake
Oh yeah.
because
well,
it keeps it up. better.
There was one time I did a group ride to, I think it was Turkey Swamp, and I was leading a pack of Harleys with my FZ07, and we made this really, really sharp turn into a dirt road. I watched all those Harley riders shit their pants because no one knew how to ride on that type of... It wasn't even like loose gravel, it was just like hard packed dirt, so it wasn't bad at all, but everyone shit their pants.
Your rear end goes slippy slide, and you're like, hey, hey, hey. Yeah. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah. I will say I do not practice with the Scout off-road. I have ridden it off-road before. When I went to the chopper meetup in Maine last August, what I did not realize is to get into the area where we were camping, you had to drive basically on their version of camp roads for, I want to say, about a half mile, maybe closer to 3/4 of a mile. And, I mean, it was all mud or washed out or just straight up sand by the riverbanks the whole time. It was an adventure. I got in there on my Scout. My dad got in there on his Chief Vintage, and to this day I have no idea how the hell he managed that without dumping it. But yeah, it was done. There was one point where there was like I was on what I thought was a road, but was probably more like a drainage ditch, and it was kind of like this on each side. So I was riding on basically the sidewall of those tires on the Scout on the side of this ditch, because in the middle it was like that much water. So that was just that was a whole mess of a scene.
It's wild. It's like the transitions. Like leaving my parents' house, heading out of my parents', like getting onto the road. That was when I would always get real squirrely. Like I would just pull from their relatively well-packed driveway onto the sugary road itself, and it would just be, and I'm like, hey, and it teaches you a lot of throttle control, a lot of clutch control, and a lot of, oh God, I did that wrong. I wanted to be smoother next time. And so I don't know. I find those transitions to be neat.
That's what I tell people. Not just for that sort of situation, but in general, the clutch is your best friend. I get a lot of people who are like trying to be newer riders and like, I'm not sure how I'm gonna, deal with the transmission and having a clutch. I'm like, trust me, I was intimidated by the clutch when I first started riding too. Very quickly, I learned that clutch lever is your best goddamn friend.
Amen, dude.
That thing is it will save your life.
Yep.
Paul's hunt is here.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey.
Howdy.
I am so jealous of you. You have had a really fun month. In fact,
It's gonna
all
be
y'all
a
have.
fun year.
Dadgummit.
Oh yeah, this whole year's packed.
The weirdos are going to be having a blast this year. All right, real quick before we start jumping into all the goofiness, Aaron, tips for safety, go.
I was listening as best I could on my way over here.
Yeah.
It's hard once I got on the interstate. It cuts the Senna out. so
Yeah,
it doesn't
don't
get
text
loud
and
enough.
drive. Don't
I
watch
did that
YouTube
in a
and
gas
ride.
station. Hey, I sent that message in a gas station parking lot, and the
Where you
phone
were
was
playing a lot, Lizard. We got it.
maybe. So safety tips. I'm not sure what's been covered. Never grab too much front brake. That's a number one. I couldn't stress that enough with my friend that I was talking with yesterday. I took him some of my gear to borrow for his first MSF course, and he had never been on a bike in his life. No dirt bike, no electric bicycles, nothing. So after I had him try on some gear to make sure it fit, took him outside. I put him on my Rebel, and when he stood it up, he's like, "Oh, this is heavy."
No.
I see. Yeah,
No.
no, it's not. And I told him that, and I told him that. Like, this is going to be one of the lightest cruisers you will ever put a leg over. But he's never ridden, not even dirt bike.
Sid.
So I would say, as a safety thing, learn the friction zone, because that'll be your friend as a new rider. And
But
learn what it's like to
but-
stall your bike.
oh, never mind. I'm happy again.
Did he skip leg day?
He's
Different.
So he's maybe a half-inch shorter than me, if that. I don't think he's shorter at all.
So he's short as fuck.
But for perspective, I weigh about 215. He weighs about 160.
But he's shorter than Sid.
No, he's about my height, give or take.
God damn it.
So he's shorter than
I thought I was
Sid.
tall.
I mean, Sid does have big dick energy.
9 mils on 2 wheels.
Matt,
as
what's
entry.
up, man?
Yeah.
I offered to I sent Matt a message today to give him a link to join the Discord so he could jump in with us. Next week, you're coming with us. Oh, my camera's over here. Yeah. You're joining this chaos next week.
The password is Matt joins Weirdos Assemble.
Call it the episode Matt Chat.
There you go.
All right, so that was at the end of your safety brief type list, Nar.
I muted myself. Yeah, that's... I think, honestly, those are two big things that I don't think I've ever heard people say, is learn what it's like to stall your bike. And the first thing to do is just to really learn the clutch zone, or the friction zone with your clutch. Because, in my opinion, especially with a new rider, you're going to stall a lot. And I remember the first time I did it, it freaked me out. Because I never did it in the MSF course. And then the first day on the road, I stalled really hard at a stop sign as a semi was coming barreling up behind me. It was not a great moment. And then the friction zone, you know, it's different with every bike, but when you're doing a lot of slow maneuvers, there's a lot more control when you know where it's at and how to play with it.
Right. Slightly off topic, but Paul, what is your friction zone with Aaron?
AY Jelly works pleasures.
And that happened.
Yeah, we gotta go check
Yeah.
out Rainy Stream Sunday. Matt just, yeah.
I don't kiss and tell.
Rowdy, you pet that dog right now.
Yes.
Yes, give the puppy some love, damn it.
I love,
Which
I love how
one?
he
The-
turns
the-
it back to him. Both
The
of them.
the
damn it.
recently neutered for Little Mayhem,
Look
I
at that
think
Mayhem
face.
and Adler,
Recently
or
neutered.
Honey. They're all good
Yeah.
babies, but Mayhem
Paul.
chewed through the door today, so that was fun.
Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't until it was too late, and then I was like, "What the ass?" And it was, dude. I don't know how he did. Like, he was so quiet. I heard the flip flap because there's like this metal sheet on the like a kick plate on the backside of the door, and he just Kool-Aid manned his way through that. And I didn't know until after the fact. And I open up the back door and I'm looking around and he's not there, and I'm like, "This is bad." And I hollered for him, and eventually he just wandered in with his head hung low, knowing that he had done wrong. But he's still a perfect dog, and he was the star of the show at the vet's office, and I have no complaints.
So, Nar, how was bike night?
This is probably the second most busy I've seen a Throttle Co event that I've been to, and I've not been to very many. But everyone was. I'll put it this way: I've never been to a bike night where you can literally talk to anybody and they will talk back and not be a dickhead. Because I've gone to Quaker Steak and Lube bike nights, you try to talk to somebody, and then there's like, yeah, and then everyone wants to stay in their own clique. At the Throttle Co bike nights, you can talk to anybody. And everyone's there, everyone's chill. It's just everyone's got a great vibe and personality. People come and go. I think I counted at least 35-ish bikes there tonight. I actually met up with a couple of people that I've talking to at the event beforehand, and we rode in together.
I might
but
ride
Nicole-
up and come to one of these with you.
It is Throttle Co bike nights are the second Friday of every month from now until October.
Paul, do you know when Appleton's bike nights are? Because I don't remember to save my damn life.
I didn't know Appleton Harley Davidson existed until about 4 days before the campout.
Fair.
But if you do want to come up Goon, every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to noon is kickstands and coffee at Throttle Co.
I do like my coffee.
Fresh hot
So-
coffee, typically some donuts, and there's bikes to test ride.
So I'm
And
not that
everything
far
is
from
compound.
Milwaukee. I'm not going to be that far from Boston. Brendan Boston from Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not that far from the Upper Peninsula. I'm not that far from Green Bay. I'm right in the center. I'll be right in the center of Wisconsin, the most beautiful part of Wisconsin.
Step trucker, just go ahead and have an extra bed for me.
Yeah.
I did get a 2-bedroom apartment, and one of the rooms will be set up
For Bacardi.
for my guests, unless Aaron comes. That's mandatory that he sleeps with me.
That was coming.
Yeah, he will. Oh.
Just don't forget about me, because now I'm not a truck driver and I live way out in Wisconsin.
See, now we can just make you another stop on our cross-country trip. Or we'll just pick you up on our way to Alaska.
Well, don't get me wrong. I'll still have my weekends, so I'm still going to be taking my weekend trips. You know, I could be in Ohio in a day. You know, that's just a
And if you met me halfway from where you are, Aaron, probably a 4-hour trip for both of us. We could meet south of Chicago pretty easily.
Yeah. Well, if all things go well, I'll have a bike worthy of road tripping by the end of July. Like perfect looking stuff.
You're gonna get that lowrider ST, are you?
That's the goal for right now. Not with a 131, but that's what I'm aiming at. I'm still gonna allow myself some test rides before then, just in case something changes my mind, like the Moto Guzzi V100. It might, because they do have one that's all white.
But it's not a lowrider. One of us.
But it's the Italian Harley.
It is the Italian Harley, yeah. But you know you want a lowrider.
Oh yeah,
I do want a lowrider ST.
Every time you got on it.
I want you to have a lowrider so that I can borrow your VIN number.
131.
Nah, if I'm gonna go to the point of putting a new engine in the lowrider ST, if I get one, I'm just gonna go straight to Moonshine.
It's only $8,000.
See, even Eddie says get a lowrider, but he's also one of us.
Yes, Eddie's the best. Eddie is an awesome guy who makes amazing pizzas.
Oh, I want a pizza.
I've seen his pizzas. They are quite impressive.
Oh my god, they're sexually attractive pizzas.
They are.
They are.
Well.
A pilf, if you will.
Mm.
Oh.
Oh my god. But it's true.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, so I think it's going to be time. Oh, God, I would love a Moonshine 130. Was it 143 Dominator?
143 Dominator.
Jesus
That's
Christ,
sexually attractive.
Yes.
Anyway, I think this is where we're going to wrap it up for the night, guys.
Any sexually attractive pizzas?
Sure.
Is that going to be the name of this one?
Be safe. And whatever you do,
Don't
or
get hit
who
by
you
a truck.
do, watch for trucks running, stop signs. I think I'm going to go around the room and let everybody say their final piece. Aaron, you get to go last. Loser. So, Yankee?
Oh, let's talk about safety and all this. I'm reminded by some lyrics from a song I'm very fond of, and it goes, "Tell God and the devil they can try, but today's not going to be the day we die."
All right. Paul? I'm sorry, Step Trucker.
Seeing how this one was all about safety, just know that there is a level of being unsafe just by swinging a leg over a motorcycle and riding it.
Always. But we can be as safe as we can doing unsafe things.
Oh, just twist that throttle and go like hell.
Sid?
Make sure to check your ego before getting on your bike, and don't be in any rush, and allow people to merge, because, hey man, maybe they're trying to get past you, or past some people in traffic just because they're in a rush. You have no idea what's going on for them. Let them go.
Rowdy? You've had the longest laundry list of safety things since we started.
None of it matters if you're not living every day like it's your last. Go hug your wife, hug your kids. Just take care of what matters.
Aaron?
Got to watch out for those black trucks, because those are the ones coming for you. Always a black truck.
Don't forget to wrap your step trucker, Aaron.
That's a different kind of safety. Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
bolts.
Alright, and finally, be fucking excellent to everyone. This is a phenomenal community, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. However small of a piece that it is in the Brapstar community, I'm still very proud to be a part of it. It's full of nothing but excellent fucking people. And we need to look out for our own. So, enjoy your rides, be safe, and we will see you weirdos next Saturday at 7. And if you want to come to the Weirdos Assemble campout, May 18th through 21st, all the info is in the description below us. I had to think about that, sorry. But, have a good night, guys. We'll see you next week. These weirdos are out.